This is Financially Fit Radio with Cory Sickles from Safe Harbor Retirement Group. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Cory provides his clients and prospects with the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful solutions to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now, here is Financially Fit Radio with Cory Sickles.
Welcome back to another episode of Financially Fit Radio. I'm Cory Sickles with Safe Harbor Retirement Group and Wealth Advisors. If you like any information we discuss on today's show, just feel free to give us a call at 614-760-0670, or you can always visit us online at safeharboroh.com. And when you're visiting our website, feel free to click on that radio page. You can listen to previous shows as well as subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Google Podcast, or Spotify. Feel free to watch today's episode on our YouTube channel. Just type in Safe Harbor Retirement Group. Feel free to subscribe. You'll be notified when new shows are out there. And you can also keep updated with our video shorts that we're putting out, about 3 or 4 a week, about different types of financial topics. Again, we're here to help and make sure that you have the best retirement that you possibly can. And the best way to be able to do that is to schedule a complimentary, no obligation meeting with us. And if you don't have a financial plan, we'll put one in place for you. And if you already are using another advisor, we can provide a second opinion as well. Again, all meetings are complimentary and there's no financial obligation. Well, today we're going to talk about something that I think a lot of people out there love to discuss, and that's life insurance. But it is actually Life Insurance Month for the month of September. And, we're really going to discuss some of the key things that you should really think about with life insurance. And really what we're talking about is, protecting your family, protecting your legacy, and possibly being able to even protect you from some taxes from income as well. But before we dive into that, let me introduce to you my co-host this week and every week, and that's Tony Shore. Tony, how are you today?
I am doing great, Cory. I've had a great week. It's been busy. I am mourning the loss of one of the greatest voices of all time, James Earl Jones. In fact, I thought about doing an intro for the show today, trying to do my best James Earl Jones. I can't even come close, but this is Financially Fit Radio. That's as close as I can get. That's as low as I can go. But James Earl Jones was down a couple of octaves. He, of course, did the voice of Darth Vader and the original CNN promo and, of course, many movies. But, yeah, he's going to be missed. He was great. Other than that, it's been a really good week. How about you? Are you keeping busy, Cory?
Yeah, real quick about, I also loved him in Sandlot, too.
Yes, he was in Sandlot. Yeah.
A lot of people don't remember that, but, he was that scary neighbor.
Yeah, he was.
They hit the ball into.
Yeah, the baseball, and it was signed by, he goes, this was signed by George. You're dead where you're standing, son. That was his line. Yeah, he was great in that. That's funny. You remember that. I remember that scene as well. That's a good one.
Yeah. Yep. Well, Tony, I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, we had that Jester Cup, with my little Ryder Cup golf format. We actually had that this last weekend. And I'm sorry to say we lost the cup.
Oh, no, you lost?
We lost the cup.
Oh, that maybe a little too much trash talking this year.
So, the Jester family took the cup back. So we got to wait another year to reclaim our rights to that cup.
Oh, they got you. I can't believe that they got you. I mean, you didn't hit a couple of holes in one to bring it in for the team?
I did not.
Oh, that's
I did not. So they played better. We didn't play as well. So that's what kind of happens, right?
It happens on any given day, right?
Yeah, and I don't know. I wasn't in all the groups, but I kind of heard that maybe their pencil had an eraser on it, so something like that as well.
I hope they're listening right now. That is great. Yeah. Maybe they improved their lie, like the line from Caddyshack. The judge is golfing and he hits it into the trees, and the guy said, "No one's looking. Maybe improve your lie, sir." And he kicks it out onto the fairway.
Yeah.
with his foot. Yeah, maybe a little bit of that was going on. They wanted that cutback pretty bad,
They
and you
did.
were laying it on pretty
I
heavy
was.
before the turn.
I even had some other videos that went out on Facebook and
I saw
YouTube and all
I
that.
saw
So,
that. Yeah, that was great.
so that's what makes the rivalry better. You got to be, it's not
Yeah.
a rivalry unless you get beat.
Yeah, and it makes it you can have fun with it, Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, accusing them of cheating is a good start. I think we've got a good start.
I didn't say that. Now.
I said that.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. I mean,
Yeah.
through the grapevine, but
No, they beat us fair and square.
there aren't any cameras out there. They can't prove that.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I'm kidding. Yeah, that's good. That's a good rivalry. Well, but you have fun with it. Whether you win or lose, you have fun out there each year at that cup,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
you?
We have fun.
Yeah. I think that's good. Well, hey, this topic you've got for us today, Cory, is hugely important. I mean, obviously, we all want to protect our loved ones and have a secure future, and we can sleep better at night if we do. Yet at the same time, I say this and we all nod our heads. Oh, yeah, we want to protect our loved ones. I want to have a secure financial future and have my family have a secure future if I should pass. But yet we put it off and people don't plan for it and they don't always make the right moves. So I'm glad you're having this show today to remind us of these things, right?
Yeah. I mean, one of the, first things that you really need to think about with life insurance, Tony, is, you want to be able to protect the ones you love.
Mm-hmm.
We have no idea when your day is going to be called, right?
Right.
And let's just say you're in your 40s or 50s, you have kids, they're still in school, they're not even in college yet. If something would happen to you and you're the main, earner within the family, not only do you need to make sure that you take care of the kids right there, but you want to make sure that you're going to have something out there to pay for their college. You're going to have income replacement. So, one of the things that you really need to be able to do is sit down with an advisor and kind of chart out a long-term plan. When you're younger, you just need some term insurance, but you also need something that's going to be there later on in life too. And that's where it could actually come into play about doing different types of strategies on products. But,
Sure.
I don't think it's, let's face it. No one loves discussing life insurance. They don't.
No.
It's kind of like discussing homeowners insurance and automobile insurance and everything else. So, well, I got enough life insurance, but you really need to kind of look at it and see, do you really have enough life insurance? And if you do it the right way, you can buy some stuff that's pretty cheap. And then we also build something that's more longer term. You might not need $1 million policy when you're 70 or 75. But you might need $1 million policy if something happens to you at age 40, right? To be able to take care of your family and things like that. So it's very important to sit down with an advisor so we can get a good idea of how much life insurance you truly do need in order to, protect your loved ones.
Well, sure. And people always groan when you bring up insurance or life insurance because I think people have this, somebody's just trying to sell me something. But no, it's a tool. There's a reason it's out there, and you don't want to leave your loved ones in a bad situation. You want to make sure you have everything taken care of, and that if you should pass, they're not left in a bad situation, unable to pay bills, unable to keep the house. These types of things, especially if you're married, you don't want to leave your spouse in that situation. If one of you should pass, that's why it is so important to have life insurance, but there are so many different types and kinds. And that's why working with a fiduciary, a financial advisor like yourself, to look at all the options and say, okay, you've got this invested here. Maybe a cash value life insurance is best for you. It depends on their situation, right?
It does. I mean, everyone's situation is different, but just like you said, Tony, I mean, odds are you probably need some portion of your life insurance to be term, so, if when I say term, you might get a 10, 20 or 30-year type, depending on where you are in your life. But another one to be able to look at is building something maybe with cash value.
Sure.
And, the products have obviously changed over the years.
Oh, yeah. They've improved greatly.
Yes, they really have. And there's a good way for you to be able to put money into a life insurance policy, Tony. while you're in your working years, 20s, 30s, and 40s and 50s. And then when you retire, now you have that cash value there. And it's going to, now you can actually go the other way with it, where now you're going to start taking money out. But here's the most important part. If you do it the right way, it's going to come to you tax-free in retirement. And, there's a lot of individuals out there that maybe you and your spouse make too much money and you can't contribute to a Roth IRA. So if you're in that situation and if someone really hasn't talked to you about maybe putting money into some type of life insurance policy to build cash, then you probably should talk with, give us a call to talk about it. But I'll be amazed if your advisor hasn't talked to you about that at this point in time either.
Yeah, they should have. And I encourage our listeners to pick up the phone, Cory, and give you a call. It's that easy. You have a great team there, and you and your team can meet with them, help answer any questions. And that number is 614-760-0670 for our podcast listeners who can't see that on the screen. So, and our radio listeners out there, appreciate that. And now, obviously, we know life insurance and insurance can help protect our loved ones. What are some other things it provides?
Well, one of the, we just real quick we'll end it on this one here though. Obviously you need to be able to replace income.
Oh, yes.
That right. The other part you also need to look at is you want to have enough coverage to cover all your debt, right? You don't, if something would happen to you unexpectedly, you don't want your spouse to keep paying that mortgage or any credit card debt or any other kind of debt or student loans, any of that type of debt. So, when you really sit down and you work with an advisor, the kind of coverage you need, it's nothing more than mathematical. It really is. We add it up. Here's all your debt. Maybe here's enough income to last 10, 15 years or whatever that might end up, being or whatever that is. But it's just a mathematical formula in order to kind of determine what type of life insurance you need. So everyone's situation is different. Everyone, is different, parts of their lives. But if you definitely want to replace your income, you want to get rid of all your debt. And obviously you want to have something left over too, Tony, for funeral expenses, whether you're actually going to have a full-blown service or whether you're going to be cremated or whatever your situation is that you want to be able to do. But it does cost something, if you do pass away. So you want to make sure that you're able to take care of your family as well as, take care of your last bills as well, in order to bury you.
Yeah. Even if you are cremated, or even if you say, I just want the plainest pine box they have, it's expensive and it just goes up from there. Right.
Yeah, it does go up from there, and it's going to keep going up from there, right?
Yeah.
I have a lot of clients that maybe go out and they prepay. They're locking in today for whatever that future might be. And there's others that are not going to do that, and they're going to pay when it happens. And you just want to make sure you have enough cash in order to pay those bills pretty quickly, for whoever who's remaining, right?
Yeah, my parents did that, and I'm fortunate. I'm thankful for that they prepaid the funeral.
Yeah. And, the other part of all this too is you really also need to start thinking about using life insurance maybe for estate planning as well. Depending on the assets you have, you might end up having too much money and you got to pay, a federal, a federal tax as well when you do, or, on your estate when you do pass away. That's one option. The other option is you might want to be able to have enough to maybe pay for some of the tax consequences of your IRAs and things like that. We talk about that on the show all the time. Just because you have $1 million in IRA does not mean you have $1 million. You got to pay taxes on it.
Right.
And usually when a parent passes away, that money that ends up going to the kids, they're in their high earning years, which means now they're going to have to pay more taxes on whatever legacy you're actually leaving them, if it's IRA money, for example. And, it could put them in different tax brackets. Now they only have 10 years in order to take it out too, Tony. So if you're actually trying to cash out this over $1 million in 10 years, you got to take $100,000 out over a 10-year period, pay the taxes on it, and it's going to be counted on whatever other income you do make, higher tax brackets, right? So, really what you want to think about is it might make sense to leave some type of life insurance in order to help pay for some of these taxes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another great idea, to cover taxes and debts. Like you said, debts, taxes, funeral expenses. This is all part of the planning that needs to be done, so you don't leave your loved ones in a bad situation, and you're going to feel better and sleep better about having this stuff taken care of.
That's exactly right. You're going to
Yeah.
sleep better at night knowing that you have this all taken care of. And,
Yep.
let's just say, I'm a small business owner too, Tony, and there's a lot of other listeners out here that are small business owners as well. What happens if a key employee or maybe you're 50% owner of a company? What happens if they pass away? Do you have that actually lined out in your operating agreement? How they're going to, what's going to happen to the company? So a lot of times you might want life insurance in order to have them buy you out, so that money goes to your spouse. So there's different types of life insurance strategies that you can do if you're a small business owner. But that's things that you really should be thinking about. That if something happens to me, how's my business going to operate the next day? And more importantly, how am I going to take care of my spouse at that point in time? If all your money is in the into the really the net worth of the company, and you can't take it out, then you might need some type of life insurance so you can actually have access to that in order to have someone buy you out of that company as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And you definitely want that. If you're a sole proprietor, especially if you're in business with somebody else, and, the business is going to be half your wife's, and, business partner might not want to be in business with your wife and kids. They wanted to be in business with you. So you need to arrange all that ahead of time and have a succession plan and insurance for that. That's a good point.
I mean, in my case, Tony, it's something that my clients ask all the time, right? What is my succession plan? And you need
Yeah.
to be able to address that with them on the way that we're actually set up here.
Mhm.
And we're able to say, here's what's going to happen if something would happen to me. They need to understand that.
Yeah.
Obviously, everyone's we're managing their money. They want to make sure that if something happens to me, that life continues on at safe harbor.
Yep.
So that's why it's so important to have some type of plan as well. And another good thing to think about too, Tony, is when we start talking about estate planning or legacy planning. Part of that might be you might depending on your situation, some of the money can go to kids, some of the money can go to charities, right? And we really need to kind of outline which part of your bucket's going to go which way. Odds are if you go to the right type of charity, they're not going to pay taxes on it. So it can make more sense to give them IRA money. And now you're leaving the life insurance, which is going to go tax free to your kids. So there's a lot of different things that we can actually do in order to make sure that your loved ones are going to be protected, and you're still going to be able to make that charitable donation if that's one of the things that you want to be able to do. Point of it is there's a lot of different solutions if you're wanting to give to charities.
Right.
We just want to make sure that you're setting it up the right way, and you can utilize life insurance to help you make that better.
Yeah, and charitable giving is so important to a lot of people out there, and you want to have that lined up ahead of time. If with beneficiary designations, your will updated, communicate with your family, and your surviving spouse or children are going to want to know, okay, I'm leaving this much to charity. Talk to the charity, talk to your financial advisor. There are things you need to do, right?
There's definitely things that you need to be able to do it in order to make anything happen, right? I
Right.
mean, you need a solid plan on whatever.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we focus on is legacy planning, taxes. I mean, that's always key, right?
Right.
Because taxes are probably going to go up. A lot of people have worked hard, to get where they are, and they want to make, at the end of the day, I think you want to make sure it goes the most tax efficient way, to whoever your heirs are, right? And another thing this is, we kind of get into protecting loved ones here too, Tony. But there's obviously you might have children or grandchildren that have some type of disability, and you might
Yeah.
want to be able to make sure that they're taken care of. And the life insurance policy could be something that goes into a trust, where they really don't have access to it, or they have legally enough access if they're on Medicaid or something like that. But that way, you're able to, again, to be able to pass on things, to your kids the right way, so they can take advantage of still being on Medicaid, but still having access to cash in order to help pay for all their expenses for as long as they live as well.
Yeah, and that's key, knowing that your loved ones are taken care of and trying to get so much of this done as much as possible ahead of time. And like you said at the beginning of the show, Cory, nobody knows the date or time. Nobody knows how long they're going to be here. Nobody has a crystal ball. And you hear all the horror stories of the celebrities who either died young or died without having any type of plan in place. Prince is a great example. He was so popular and worth so much money, but there's still litigation going on around
Oh
his
yeah.
estate.
If you don't set that up the right way, not only is it time, but now you're talking money. It's going to be going to a lot of lawyers and probate and everything
Yeah.
else in order to go to where it wants to. So
Yeah,
um,
exactly. So
yeah,
you've pointed out a lot of things. I mean, we're talking about financial protection and securing your future with income replacement, using insurance. You want to make sure your debt is covered if you pass. That's where insurance can come in as well. Funeral expenses. That's something that a lot of people don't always consider. Where's that going to come from, and are you going to have enough? Typically it's way more than people expect. I think people need to be aware of the realities of those costs, things like that, right?
yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. And you know, as we're getting ready to wrap up here in the next couple minutes, Tony, the one thing I want to remind everybody is this. There's a lot of different types of products that we can actually provide you with life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take care of you. But at the end of the day, there's three primary things that life insurance does. One is it can provide death benefit. The second part is it can provide what I consider cash value or tax-free money in retirement. And the third thing is it can also help pay for long-term care or chronic, if you can't perform 2 of the 6 daily activities. Now, when you start talking about life insurance, there's one that you have to focus on. So if I focus on death benefit, yes, I might have cash value, but it might not be as great. And I might still actually have long-term care insurance within there as well. But if I want to focus on long-term care, then I might be giving a little bit of my cash. I might be giving a little bit of my death benefit. So, but one of the things that I see more and more of is clients want the ability to have all three. So we have to determine what is right for you and then build a plan to be able to do that. And in some cases, Tony, it might be 2 different policies. One that focuses on death benefit, one focuses on cash. Or maybe one focuses on, chronic care and the other one focuses on death benefit. So no matter what we try to do, we have to understand what you're really trying to accomplish. And then we go out and we find the right solution for you. It's pretty simple for us. We're independent. I'm not tied to any particular company. We're not branded any particular company. So we're going to find the right type of solution that's going to meet your particular needs.
Yeah, and you're always looking out for your client's best interests. Unlike if you go to one of the big box insurance companies or talk to somebody who's just an insurance broker, they're going to try to sell you the insurance with the biggest commission for themselves. And you don't do that. You suggest what's going to work best for your client from the best companies that are the most reliable and best suit their needs and goals. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, when we have a fiduciary responsibility to the client, Tony, we're going to do what's always right for them. Now, the one thing we need to truly understand are what are you really trying to accomplish and what your goals
Right.
are, and then based upon that, then we can provide the solution.
Yeah.
So, but everyone's situation is different, and going into it, when we meet with a client for the first time, we don't know what the answer is going to be.
Right.
But we're going to come back and we're going to try to solve whatever particular questions or concerns you have in order to make that right for you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're out of time for today's show, Cory. Before we go, let our listeners know how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, for our listeners out there, give us a call at 614-760-0670, or you can always visit us online at safeharboroh.com. And just remember, any meeting that you schedule with us, it's complimentary. There's no financial obligation. we're here to help and guide you to make sure that you have the best retirement that you can. And really, the only way to be able to do that is if you set up a complimentary, no obligation meeting with us so we can put that plan in place for you.
All right, and that does it for today's episode of Financially Fit Radio with our host, Cory Sickles.
Thank you for listening to Financially Fit Radio. Don't pay too much for taxes or retire without a sound income plan. For more information, contact Cory Sickles at Safe Harbor Retirement Group. Call 614-760-0670 or visit their website at financiallyfitoh.com.
All matters discussed during the show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary, and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation. We are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration, the Federal Medicare Program, or any other government agency. Calling this number will direct you to a licensed sales agent